Well, when we moved in, we noticed a lot of the other patios that were in the neighborhood, and the ones that we really liked, when we asked the neighbors who did the construction, they did say West Shire. So that was what drove us to at least start asking the questions, because when you come in, you really never know, like, who do you ask for, or who's going to provide you a product that's going to look good. So just looking around the neighborhood, asking folks around, and they said West Shire. So that was the reason why we started, when we were looking at the quest, this is why we ended up choosing West Shire. So here's what we liked working with West Shire is you know, Justin, when you came in, you know, you asked us the questions. We felt as we were going through the process, it was more of a discussion. You know, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think? And there really wasn't any pressure to do anything, but the process was more of an exploratory process. You know, what's in the realm of possibilities, what would look good, and then some of our ideas shared with your ideas really came up with what we had here. So a joint process, and what was beneficial is many times you feel as though somebody wants to try to sell you something. That's not how we felt at all. It was, hey, this is what we're thinking about, and it was a good dialogue between the two of us. So I appreciate that aspect of coming up with the final project, what it would look like. Yeah, so when we were in that process, what we really liked on the design aspect is when we talked about from the existing deck, and then with the adding on, and then having that step, kind of creating a little bit of break. It gave us a little bit more of a better shot of our view, but then it also just added to what we wanted, and it just didn't look like a single form fit type deck. It looked like it belonged. And as when the project was done, and my wife and I, we actually took a step back and looked from across the way. When we looked at the house with the deck, it just looked like it belonged, like if it was always there. It didn't look like an add-on. It didn't look like, hey, this is something that somebody just put on later. It just fit right into the existing house in a manner that really complemented the existing features of the house. So that was something that was shocking to us. And then I think the other aspect that we enjoyed is the pergola. When we put the pergola in, Devin, who was the foreman there, worked with my wife and kind of discussed with the purlins. And I'm looking at my wife because she was the one that came up with you know, the actual design of the purlins on top. Instead of just going with a standard, you know, even fit, putting them together, and then poor Devin had to kind of work with my wife and, you know, moving, very patient, but together they came up with something that we wouldn't have thought about. But when we laid it out, and then we re-laid it out, and he allowed us to explore different types of options until we came up with something that we enjoyed. Yeah, sure. The budget's always a thing. I mean, that's always the bottom line. And there was never any issues with the budget or any of these extra add-ons that sometimes you incur. Everything was the same price and all. I do understand the weather, you know, when you're working with projects outside. So there was some delay in the expectation, but that was really due to Mother Nature, and sometimes she just chooses not to cooperate, and there's really nothing we can do. But in the end, I mean, the finished product was exactly what we wanted, and in many areas exceeded our expectations. Yeah, so the original deck that we had was significantly smaller, and now with the added space that West Shire was able to provide us, we actually were able to have basically another dining area, as well as a sitting area. And with the addition of the pergola, we're actually able out here in midday where the sun can be beating down, but that pergola provides us a little bit additional shade in that aspect. So absolutely more opportunity to come outside, enjoy the weather, enjoy the great view that we have here, and it's just more comfortable with the with the material that's used, there's no worry about splinters and it just it looks a lot better. It looks a lot more refined, and it just adds to the overall value, and it adds to we just basically have another living space. Yeah, so we've been able to take a couple vacations since then and showed folks the pictures, and because both of our families don't live in Pennsylvania, so they haven't physically been here to see it, but we've absolutely shown the pictures, and they're all impressed. And then we did have one of the neighbors that actually enjoyed some of the products from West Shire come over here. And we just sat and had a couple cocktails and just sat and talked for a little bit, enjoying the product as well as the great outdoors here that Pennsylvania has to offer us. But we just got it, so we're looking forward to having more opportunities to show off our new addition. In addition to that, our realtor who sold us this house actually has seen it with the addition here, with the deck and the pergola and all, and she herself was impressed on a social event with my wife, and just said that, you know, the added value that comes when you put a deck on. So so our realtor was also impressed with what the final product looked and how it adds to the overall value of the house. Yeah, okay, yeah, so absolutely. The team did address some of the concerns we had, particularly because the boards aren't form fitted, you know, so there's not a standard pattern. Just some of the way that they were laid out, my wife didn't particularly take a liking to just the way the shades looked at. And Devin, no problem with his, you know, Devin and Riley, they're a great team that work together. We had other folks, Nick too, but those were the two that were throughout the whole project. Again, really flexible in addressing some of those concerns with the different coloring and all, and just making sure that it flowed from a perspective that my wife appreciated. So it did cause a little extra work, but there was no problem that they said no, we couldn't do. It was like, yeah, we can do that. And sure enough, they actually did replace some of the boards. There's nothing wrong with the boards. It's just that she just didn't like the way that the color was matching. And to reiterate, the fact that experimenting with what we wanted with the pergola, that was also a benefit on, hey, how do you put an overhead structure that will be able to survive some of the winds that we had, just because we are on the side of the mountain. And they told me how it was all going to be constructed. And the structural integrity that's inherent in this in the product. So I appreciate. We could feel a little of the wind right now too. Just addressing. This is kind of a moderate wind that they came in, but yeah. So that was good. And then Levi, who's, you know, the project manager, would come by and just if there was any larger concerns, he was able to address, or just being able to take care of the little things, setting up Devin for success. Our foreman. And it was a good team when they were building our deck here. Yeah, I would absolutely recommend West Shire to anyone. I just think that right from the beginning, you know, when we're talking to you, Justin, and coming up with what we want. And even if you're not really sure on your project, just being able to walk through someone, bouncing ideas off was beneficial. So if anybody's not really sure, like, hey, I know I want to do something, but I'm not sure what I can do, here's our budget. I think the way that West Shire is structured, it allows the flexibility and to explore as many options as possible. And then when the workmen come in, our experience was with Devin and Riley and they're, well, all the folks, but particularly those two, always professional and willing to engage in conversation too. So if you did have questions, they would absolutely address those questions and then continue to work. And we enjoyed that level of professionalism, and we enjoyed the fact that always courteous, and just getting down and getting the work done, which was appreciative.